Should we talk about douche from MyPillow? Mike Lindell for MyPillow.
Who the f*** is that guy?
Mike
What a
Lindell. That's different than the Mel Kiper big board.
Throttling.
Yeah. Mike Lindell, the founder of MyPillow. Captain Douche. What a dick. I always say this, and look, I'm a Christian myself. I believe in Jesus. Praise God. Anybody that wears a cross on their chest, as he does, and talks about what a good Christian man they are, probably isn't that good of a Christian man.
What?
It's Joel Osteen, Pastor Joel Osteen, at Lakewood Community, whoever in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
When did we learn about Joel Osteen? Oh, that's right. When there was a hurricane, the city flooded, people were homeless, and they asked to stay at his mega church. Hey, can we sleep in your basement? No. Like, wouldn't let people stay there that were homeless, needed a place for a few days to get out of the rain and the water. No. And why? Because he didn't want those miscreants in his building. Oh, but we have to make sure it's safe. Like, that's the excuse he used when he got outed on national TV. Oh, well, we have to make sure it's safe. What if it's not to code? So you're not going to let any of your parishioners in on Sunday for service, right? Because we're not
doesn't make you feel responsible
and stuff. Oh, but of course they have to be here because how are they going to tithe and give me money? No, Joel Osteen, you're not a good guy. No, Mike Lindell, the MyPillow guy, you're not a good guy. So Mike Lindell is a huge Trump supporter, which doesn't make him a bad guy, by the way. I mean, all Trump supporters are bad people. We know that.
I mean, they just raided the Capitol, but I mean, what's the big deal? Come on.
I'm kidding. That was a joke. Relax. Not all Trump supporters are bad people.
Right.
And I think it's easy to lump all those liberals are terrible
Those
people.
libtards.
Stop the steal. 4 more years.
We went from stop the count to stop the vote to stop the steal.
to raiding the Capitol. But Mike Lindell is a outspoken, devout Trump supporter, right? And so Mike Lindell has been a little aggressive on Twitter. I mean, he continues to spread lies about the election. He continues to lie to the American people. And so Twitter said, no, we're not going to have you here anymore, sir. You're out. Right? And it is one of those things where Twitter put in a policy last September, before the election.
Yeah.
Twitter put in a policy to protect their platform against misinformation. And it's why Donald Trump's not on the platform anymore, frankly. And now it's why Mike Lindell's not on the platform, because he continues to say things that are just not true.
Right.
And this is, by the way, very interesting. Kevin McCarthy, the head Republican congressman from California, speaking of head, is going to Florida to meet with Donald Trump. Even though Donald Trump's not in power anymore. And these guys continue to talk about how the election was stolen from Donald Trump. And it is just like Lindell, who got banned for repeated violations of the civic integrity policy that Twitter had put in place.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that these guys realize how dangerous that rhetoric is. And I don't think they realize that when you have, and I'm not going to use her name because I think she's a horrendous human, this congresswoman from Georgia talking about, how, that the election was stolen and our democracy's at risk because of election fraud. But yet you have no proof of that. You have no evidence of that.
And they've been repeatedly asked.
Where is it? Where is it? Well, we're being shut down and we can't provide the evidence. Okay, well, you've been on TV. You've been in court. You've had multiple opportunities to show your evidence. Where is it? Dominion Voting Systems.
I love what they're doing.
The perfect example of this.
Yeah.
Mike Lindell, Dominion Voting Systems, is about to file $1 billion lawsuit against Mike Lindell from MyPillow.
MyPillow.
Right? Like he is in real trouble. So wait, let me get this right. So Target and Walmart and Bed Bath & Beyond and all of these retailers who have said we're no longer going to carry MyPillow products because of this whole thing that he's doing about how the election was stolen, they're in on the conspiracy too. That's what you're telling us, right? Like this congresswoman who now is, on these really important committees. Like the Republicans are pushing somebody. She believes in QAnon. Even though Mr. Q didn't show up at the Capitol and nothing he said was true, she's still out there pushing this idea that all the Democrats, that Joe Biden's a pedophile. Mm-hmm. She's out there saying that the Parkland shooting is a hoax. And she's attacking the kid from the Parkland shooting.
Right.
She's on tape on a Facebook live stream saying that she would like to see all the Democratic senators murdered in public. So we're going to put her in leadership on committees. That's where we're at in this country.
In the Republican Party.
But who's going to do anything about it? Why is McCarthy going to meet with Trump?
Don't know.
Well, like, what is the point of that, right? And then you have Mike Lindell from MyPillow talking about how he is not going to be silenced. And that he's, like this Dominion voting thing, he's facing a multi-billion-dollar suit, just like Rudy Giuliani, because he continues to say, he said on Fox News last week, Dominion voting systems played a role in the election being stolen because they changed out the inner machinery of the machines. And like, you have no evidence of this.
Where's the proof, bro? Like, where?
And Mike Lindell's one of the guys pushing this idea that the Dominion voting system people are linked to Venezuela and these Central American countries, and that what happened is they put in these Dominion voting machines, and they had these special computers inside of them that changed every Trump vote to a Biden vote. By the way, then why didn't Biden win by like 10 million votes, 20, 30, 40 million votes?
Yeah.
Notice that they're not talking about the fact that, well, if we use these Dominion voting systems in states that Trump won, well, he won states. He got 74 million votes. How do you explain that?
Yeah. And by the way, if the real, where the rubber really meets the road is the fact that the presidential ticket and the local ticket are the same ticket. So if the Dominion Energy if the Dominion machines, were faulty, right? If there was something going on there, you're telling me that it's okay at the state level, but not okay at the national level, even though it's the same piece of paper.
Yeah, all the Republicans that won, races in the House. So we should just throw those out too. Oh no, we're just talking about the presidential rate. So Dominion voting machines only change presidential votes then, right? And so Lindell and others are pushing this conspiracy that Dominion then went in after all the ballots were counted and they took out those special Trump, crushing computers and put in normal Dominion voting machine computers. Without any evidence, no video, no pictures, no Dominion. Think about it. Do you really think that Dominion voting systems, there wouldn't be a leak about this? Do you know how hard it would be to contain that kind of conspiracy?
Yeah.
Are you serious? You have no evidence of that. None whatsoever. Like you have this woman that was Rudy Giuliani's star witness in Michigan, I think? Mm-hmm. Who has turned out to be a check kiter and a fraud and like a convicted felon. She's running for office now. She's running for office. Sarah Huckabee Sanders running for the governor of Arkansas.
It's a joke.
After she stood up as press secretary and lied on a daily basis. Kayleigh McEnany, is it any surprise that the former press secretary for Donald Trump now is about to start working at Fox News?
It's a joke, dude.
When she stood up there and lied every single day. Mm-hmm. So is it any surprise that Twitter banned Mike Lindell for MyPillow? Mr. Christian, Mr. Hang the Cross on the front of my shirt, and stand up in front of Americans and lie every single day.
Yep.
And then when something like the insurrection happens, we're all like, well, I mean, it's because the vote was stolen, right? No. The vote was not stolen. Do we really need a terrorist bulletin issued yesterday
Yes.
saying that insurrectionists in this country are a huge threat? Why are they a huge threat right now? Because they believe that Donald Trump was screwed out of an election, that there was voter fraud to change votes to Joe Biden with no evidence.
Yeah.
With no evidence. QAnon again. They said, oh, well, Donald Trump's going to stay in office, and these guys are pedophiles. And then when it didn't happen, like QAnon supporters are like, whoa. This Babbitt woman who was shot in the Capitol, huge QAnon supporter. Her friends are like, she died for nothing because QAnon's a hoax. Are you really just figuring that out? That the Democrats are not some pedophile ring? And Dominion voting systems didn't defraud anybody? They just count votes, and more votes came in for Biden than for Trump.
It's really simple. And you know what? Where my brain goes with all this is like, what is the why behind like Mike Lindell and the woman from Georgia and Sarah Huckabee Sanders and Kayleigh McEnany and all these people that continue to push the narrative that the election was rigged and Donald Trump is a victim? Why are they doing all this? Is there some sort of reward at the end of the road if he gets a second term? What are you going to do when he gets his second term and okay, great, he had a second term, now he's done. What are you going to do? What's going to be next? Because that's where this goes. What's going to be next? Like, what are we going to push to keep Trump in office for 50 years? Because that's what he wants, right? That's what he wants.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't. I don't know what's next. I really don't. I mean,
imagine pushing a narrative for no other reason than you just want the attention.
Now, having said that, by the way, what I don't think this impeachment trial is a good idea. I really don't.
Well, I don't know what the alternative is because I don't think you can just not hold people accountable.
Well, I think you need to keep him out of office. I would be thrilled to censure him and say Donald Trump, he can never run for office again.
Yeah,
I'm all down for that. I think this impeachment trial, he's not going to be found guilty. And I think what it's going to do is drive division because you're going to have Republicans that are going to line up against him. And they're going to, the Republican Party is whatever this is.
Yeah.
Because this is not my
It's a
Republican
dumpster
Party.
fire, dude.
This is not Ron. Everybody keeps talking about this is Reagan's Republican Party. No, it's not. No, it's not. The Republican Party of Donald Trump is not going to take lightly when somebody votes against him in an impeachment trial. Mm-hmm. Like Mitt Romney's got a huge target on him because of this. So I look at the Governor Whitmer situation in Michigan, where all those guys are now pleading guilty to trying to kidnap her. And what are they saying? Well, we had to do something. Okay, cool. When somebody gets killed, you let me know. By the way, Fat Jesus says Dominion also slept with my wife, and they were on the grassy knoll. That's a Kennedy assassination. Right?
No, with your wife.
Well, you know what I'm saying? That's true. Thank you, Shaq.